Good morning, students. How you all are? Hope you all are well, and we are back with our class. This is the second part of chapter 4, the key elements of a democratic government from the civics book. So before starting today's class, we will just have a small revision of what we discussed in the in the previous class. In the previous class, we had started our chapter with Maya's story, who is an Indian African girl settled in South Africa. We had seen that how some years back the South Africa was brutally covered by an apartheid law. Apartheid law means a policy of segregation or discrimination on the basis of races or color of the skin. We had seen that on those days, the South Africa, there were different peoples, there were white, there were Africans, there were Indians, and there were some other colors. So the rules, all the rules which were made in the apartheid policy, it was only favorable to the white, as they can have good ambulance, good hospitals, good education, they can participate in election and so many things. But the other part of society, it was discriminated very badly. They were forced to have poor medical treatment. They were not allowed to learn the language of their interest. They don't have good land to cultivate. In this way, their condition was very poor. One of the boy, Victor Henderson, he tried to protest and he was killed by the police. So this was what happens when we don't have a democratic government. But in South Africa also, under the leadership of Nelson Mandela, they made a strong protest for several years, and finally it gave result in and they got independence. Now South Africa is also having a democratic government. Then we had started with the first point of democratic government, that is people's participation. We had seen that in India we have universal adult franchise, that means everyone who is 18 years or above, they can take part in election. So we have means in India we have an appointed or not appointed, we have an elected government. Then we had seen that we have regular elections, so that we can check work of our leaders, and if they are not working properly, we will not give our vote for them in the next election, and they will not be a ruling leader next time. In today's class, at first we will discuss that other ways of people's participation. First we had seen that it was regular election through which we can participate in the working of government. But apart from this, there are few more ways through which the people can participate in a democratic government. For example, sometimes it happens, मान लीजिए आपके टीचर ने आपको बहुत सारा होमवर्क दिया और आपको ऐसा लग रहा है ये होमवर्क बहुत सारा है, तो आप लोग क्या करते हो, कई बार इट हैपेंस, समटाइम इट हैपेंस, यू मेक अ ग्रुप प्रोटेस्ट कि कल हम लोग कोई होमवर्क नहीं करेंगे या फिर हम अपने कॉपी नहीं लेके जाएंगे. और समटाइम्स इट्स हैपेंड इन योर होम कि योर मदर हैड प्रिपेयर्ड सम ब्रेकफास्ट और स्नैक्स, यू डोंट वांट दैट स्नैक, तो तुम प्रोटेस्ट करते हो कि मैं अब ये नहीं खाऊंगा जब तक कि मेरा फेवरेट छोले भटूरे है, पाव भाजी है, जब तक ये बनेगा मैं ऐसा नहीं करूंगा. दिस इज वन काइंड ऑफ प्रोटेस्ट. ऑल्दो व्हाट एग्जांपल आई हैड गिवन, इट इज नॉट एन एग्जांपल ऑफ गुड प्रोटेस्ट, वो एक सही प्रोटेस्ट नहीं है, बट जस्ट टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड आई हैड गिवन दिस एग्जांपल. सो कई बार आप भी ऐसा पढ़ते होंगे कि न्यूज़पेपर में कि कुछ लोग अभी स्ट्राइक कर रहे हैं, रैलीज निकाल रहे हैं, बिकॉज दे डोंट लाइक सम लॉज मेड बाय द government. So this is also one example that how people participate in democratic government. Sometimes one example which is given in your book, the region is not mentioned. उस जगह पे क्या हुआ, suddenly electricity bill और electricity rate was increased, मतलब बिजली के बिल को बढ़ा दिया गया. तो उस पर्टिकुलर एरिया के लोगों ने उसको प्रोटेस्ट किया, उन्होंने रैली निकाली और उसके बाद क्या हुआ, गवर्नमेंट को उस फैसले को विड्रॉ करना पड़ा, वापस लेना पड़ा. सो इवन इन आवर डेमोक्रेसी वी हैव आवर राइट दैट इफ द डिसीजन और रूल्स मेड बाय गवर्नमेंट which is elected by us, if we are not satisfied we can protest and we can change. So this is how we can take part in our democratic government actively. मीन्स ऐसा नहीं कि हमने उनको इलेक्ट कर दिया तो वो 5 साल तक उनको जो करने का मन है वो करेंगे. अगर हमको ऐसा लगता है कि दे आर नॉट वर्किंग प्रॉपरली एंड द लॉज मेड बाय देम इज नॉट फॉर द पब्लिक इंटरेस्ट, definitely we can protest them and it will be changed. So now we will read that. हम अभी पढ़ेंगे that other ways, means what are the different ways through which we can protest. If you want to read the incident regarding the electricity bill, that is given in page number 37, that you can go for it. I am skipping it as I had explained and I am coming to the next page. Page number 38. There are many ways in which people express their views and make government understand what action they should take. This includes dharna. One word is dharna, rally, strikes, signature campaign, etc., etc. So we will just try to understand that each one. Dharna. बेसिकली कई बार आपने देखा होगा कि एक पर्टिकुलर चौक में बहुत सारे लोग इकट्ठा हो जाते हैं, उनके आगे बहुत सारे बोर्ड्स होते हैं, पोस्टर्स होते हैं, वो वहाँ पे बैठे हुए रहते हैं ना. जो सपोज गवर्नमेंट ने एक रूल निकाला कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल इंक्रीज होगा, तो पूरे लोग एक जगह इकट्ठा होते हैं, उनके आगे पोस्टर्स होते हैं एंड अलग अलग साइन बोर्ड्स होते हैं और वो वहाँ बैठ के धरना देते हैं ना. सो दिस इज वन काइंड ऑफ प्रोटेस्ट, दैट इज धरना. सेकेंड वन इज रैलीज. रैलीज में क्या होता है, वो जो क्राउड होता है, जो लोग होते हैं जिनको कुछ भी चीज अगेंस्ट करना रहता है, तो वो एक साथ एक जगह में बैठते नहीं है बट वो मार्च करते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल वो गुरुकुल स्कूल से जांजगीर की कलेक्ट्रेट तक एक रैली निकालेंगे, मीन्स यहाँ से वो वहाँ तक जाएंगे, जो भी लोग उनको देखेंगे वो उन लोगों को बताने की कोशिश करेंगे कि वी हैव सम प्रॉब्लम विद द गवर्नमेंट, दैट इज वी आर मेकिंग द रैली. स्ट्राइक्स. मान लीजिए कि किसी भी कंपनी में ऐसा हो रहा है कि दे आर नॉट गेटिंग द प्रॉपर सैलरीज, सो व्हाट दे कैन डू, दे कैन गो फॉर द स्ट्राइक. मीन्स वो अब काम नहीं करेंगे. फॉर एग्जांपल नॉर्मली आप लोग भी आज करते होंगे कि अगर मुझे मोबाइल नहीं मिलेगा तो मैं नहीं पढ़ूंगा, मुझे अगर बाइक नहीं मिला, स्कूटी नहीं मिला तो आई विल नॉट गो टू द स्कूल. सो दिस इज वन एग्जांपल ऑफ स्ट्राइक दैट यू पीपल डू इन योर होम. देन द नेक्स्ट इज सिग्नेचर कैंपेन. सिग्नेचर कैंपेन, चलो उसको भी हम आपकी क्लास के एग्जांपल से ही समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. सपोज यू आर नॉट सेटिस्फाइड by the class monitor elected by your class, so what you can do, you will write a letter to principal, that to the principal, and so many things you will write. You will write that we are not satisfied with our class monitor. उसके बाद क्लास के सारे लोग उसमें अपना सिग्नेचर करेंगे और उसको प्रिंसिपल ऑफिस में दे देंगे. So this is one example of signature campaign. So these are different ways through which we can participate in a government or we can protest some rules or some laws made by the government. While it is true that a democracy allows people to participate, it is also true that not all sections of people are actually able to do so. Another way of people to participate is by organizing themselves into social movement that seek challenges the government and its functioning. Member of minority communities, Dalits, Adivasis, women and other are often able to participate in this manner. So few we had discussed that how we participate in the government, that rallies, strike, signature campaign, dharna. Apart from that, sometimes what we do, we make a group and we do the mass protest. Basically, the women's, the underprivileged part of the society, like Adivasis, untouchables, all these people do this kind of activity. If a country's people are alert and interested in how country is run, the democratic character of a government of that country will be stronger. So we were just discussing that how and the different ways through which we can actively participate in the government. Sometimes we see in the news that government is not making roads properly. We read in the newspaper that poor quality of material is used for making the roads, bridges. So even all those things is an example of other ways of participating in democratic government. ऑल्दो हम सब गवर्नमेंट मीन्स हमारे ही वोट से गवर्नमेंट बनता है, बट अगर वो काम अच्छा नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम उसका प्रोटेस्ट कर सकते हैं, हम उसके बारे में लिख सकते हैं, हम उसके बारे में दूसरों को बता सकते हैं. सो दिस इज हाउ दैट वी टेक पार्टिसिपेशन इन डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट एक्टिवली एंड मेक एंड ट्राई टू मेक द गवर्नमेंट और वर्किंग ऑफ गवर्नमेंट सक्सेसफुल. So just now we had seen that what are the other ways of people's participation in a democratic government. Now we will discuss the second important point, and which is a key element in a democratic government. It is the resolution of conflict. Already we had discussed the meaning of word resolution and conflict. कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में कुछ भी लड़ाई या फिर कुछ भी मतभेद जो होता है, एंड रीसोल्यूशन मीन्स द करेक्ट सॉल्यूशन. सो अगेन वी विल कनेक्ट इट दिस पॉइंट टू Maya's story. In that story we had seen that boys, they wanted to learn their own native language Zulu, so they made a protest, and the boy was killed and others were beaten, and that was suppressed. Do you think it was a fair way of solving the problem? क्योंकि वो बॉयज जो पढ़ना चाहते थे उनको मार दिया गया, और अब वो लैंग्वेज पढ़ाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. जो गवर्नमेंट जो अफ्रीकन लैंग्वेज चाहता था, स्टिल वही अभी स्कूल में पढ़ाया जाएगा. सो डू यू थिंक द वे दैट प्रॉब्लम वॉज सॉल्व्ड और दैट conflict was resolved is correct? No, it is not correct. And in democratic government, it should not happen like this. In a government, in a democratic government, basically the police, the government had given this initiative to the police, to that they should peacefully resolve all the matters. As basically India में बहुत रिलीजन के लोग रहते हैं, बहुत डिफरेंट सोच के लोग रहते हैं. सो नॉर्मली द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स हैपन, इट हैपन सेवरल टाइम. सो it is the responsibility of government that it should handle it properly. For example, ओके तुम्हारे क्लास के एग्जांपल से बात करते हैं. सपोज अकॉर्डिंग टू अदिति, only girls should become the class captain, and if Pratham wants that only boys should become the class captain. So there may be a conflict because maybe both are right at their end, but they want means उनकी सोच वैसी है, so conflict हो सकता है. So basically in our country where we have in the first chapter we had seen that there are more than 1600 languages, 21 important religions. We have a diversity, है ना, so much diversity is there, and definitely the diversity causes clashes. So अगर ऐसा कोई भी clash होता है, it is responsibility of democratic government that it should make the police involved in it, and it should be peacefully settled. It should not happen that somebody is shooted and somebody is beaten. It goes against democratic policy. Suppose कोई भी अगर religious group एक रैली निकाल रहा है, तो it's a responsibility of police that they should maintain the peace there, है ना. It should not happen that कुछ बात बढ़ गया, दोनों एक दूसरे को पत्थर से मारने लगे. The condition should not become worst, and it is the sole responsibility of government, and definitely we too, that it should be handled properly. Sometimes even some conflicts happens because of the water, है ना, कि पानी के बारे में भी कई बार होता है. One such incident is given in your book in page number 39, second paragraph. I am going to read it. In this example, you will come to know that when there was a conflict between two states, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, how central government had interfered in this matter and resolved the problem. River too can become a source of conflict between states. A river may begin in one state, flow from another, and end in the third. The sharing of river water between different states that river goes through it become an issue of conflict. For example, you may have heard about Kaveri water dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The water stored in Krishnarajasagaram Dam in Karnataka is used for irrigation and a number of districts and for meeting the need of city of Bangalore. The water stored in Mettur Dam in Tamil Nadu is used for crop grown in the delta region of that state. So basically the conflict between two states, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, it was because of river Kaveri. As river जो है वो एक पर्टिकुलर स्टेट में ही शुरू होकर पर्टिकुलर स्टेट में नहीं खत्म होता. It have a long journey. It travels so many states. So both the state Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, they both built dam in their state, and for both of the states the dam and the water in Kaveri river, it was used for many purposes and was very important. A conflict arises because both the dams are on same river. The downstream dam in Tamil Nadu can only be filled up if the water is released from the upstream one located in Karnataka. Therefore, both the states cannot get as much water as they needed for people in their states. This leads to a conflict, and central government has to step in and see that a fair distribution of worked out for both the states. As both the states had built the dam and Tamil Nadu was in downstream, मतलब वो थोड़ा नीचे था, and the Karnataka was in little upstream. So when water was flowing, if Karnataka will build dam, it will stop the water there itself, and the water will not flow to Tamil Nadu. So this was the reason of conflict between the state. And as in democratic government, it is responsibility of government to solve a conflict. So central government interrupted in this matter and made the justice and equal distribution or fair distribution of water between two states. So definitely we can conclude that resolution of a conflict in a democratic government should be done by government in a peaceful manner. It should not hurt anyone. मतलब किसी को भी ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए कि मैं ये लैंग्वेज बोलता हूँ या फिर मैं लड़का हूँ या फिर मैं लड़की हूँ या फिर मैं इस पर्टिकुलर कास्ट से बिलोंग करता हूँ इसीलिए मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ. The responsibility of government, democratic government, is to be equal and just for everyone. So I hope you have understood the second point, the resolution of conflict. Now we will discuss the third and most important point, equality and justice. And equality and justice are the foundation of a democratic government. So we had seen that in the Maya's story, where apartheid policy was followed, there were no equality. The white people, they were having good hospital, the other they were not having. The white people, they were having right to vote, the others they were not having. The white people were given the best land, The black people were given the first land. The languages which white people were speaking, it was taught in the school. But the Zulu language, it was not taught in the school. So you can see that in non-democratic government, we don't have equality. But equality and justice is ensured in democratic government. We had seen in the first and the second chapter an example of Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar, who was an untouchable, who had faced so much thing in his life. But when we got independence, when we made a democratic government, untouchability was abolished. So this is one example that why equality and justice is important in democratic government, and because of this only the untouchability was abolished. And apart from abolishing untouchability, the Indian government had made several provisions for those scheduled caste people. They were given some reservation in the government job, they were given reservation in the government schools and government colleges. So in this way, so much of thing was done to uplift the condition of scheduled castes. Even in our society, there was discrimination between a girl child and boy child. Normally the boy children, they were preferred. So हमारे गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया, जब उसको ऐसा लगा कि इंडिया में जो है बॉय चाइल्ड को ज़्यादा प्रेफरेंस दिया जाता है, तो इक्वालिटी को और अब एनहेंस करने के लिए द इंडियन गवर्नमेंट हैज मेड डिफरेंट लॉज. फॉर एग्जांपल, इन मेनी जॉब्स द women's were given a reservation. The separate school for girls were opened. So many schemes were given for the girls in which the scholarship was given to them, free cycles were given to them. In this way, so much of the help was given to girl or women so that their condition in the society will be uplifted. So this is why equality and justice is an important element of a democratic government. Now I will read the last page of the chapter. The earlier practices of untouchability is now banned by the law. This group of people were denied education, transport or medical facilities and given the chance to offer prayers. Dr. Ambedkar, whom you have read about the earlier in this book, and many others like him, realized that such a practice must not continue and that justice can only be achieved when people are treated equally. The government also recognized this by making special provision groups within the society that are unequal. For instance, in our society, there is general tendency to value and care the boy child and more than a girl child. So what all inequalities or differences were there in our society? Our government, being a democratic government, tried to locate it and tried to give equal opportunity for everyone. So definitely we can say that three key elements of a democratic government. First is people's participation, second, resolution of conflict in a peaceful way, and third and most important, equality and justice. So I hope you all have understood the chapter. If you have any doubts, you can ask it. And today's homework is that you have to write question answers of this chapter in your civics classwork copy. Thank you, students.